why won't you just answer my questions, my legitimate concerns? And you still don't get a response. It got to the point where I wrote to Simon Darby. I'll give you a background of the issue. When they did the selection process for the European elections, and Andrew Brons was selected in first place, I wrote to Michaela, who was the nominating officer, and I said to her, it was a very polite letter, I said, look, no sour grapes, I respect the decision, but considering I've been involved for 20 years, 10 years in the limelight, my family photo on for 29 million leaflets, I've sacrificed so much for the party, can you just explain to me why you brought in Andrew Brons, who's got no history with the party? I said, I'm not slagging Andrew Brons off, he's a good guy from what I've heard, because I didn't know him, but I'd just like to know what the decision was. And Michaela wrote back and said, I understand where you're coming from, I'll pass the message on to Nick, he'll get back to you. He didn't get back to me. He didn't get back to me at all, so I wrote again, and I wrote again, and I wrote again. And I thought, hang on a minute, my concerns are genuine here, I'm not, you know, it's not my own ego. If they'd have said to me, Nick, you're too this, you're too that, Andrew's far more media friendly, he's far more educated than you, he's got a far nicer accent, he comes across far better, I'd have said, fair enough. But I didn't, so when they didn't respond to me, it said to me, alarm bells started ringing. I thought, there's some issue here. And then I looked at the selection panel and there was Jim Dowson on the selection panel. So then I said, why is Jim Dowson picking the European candidates for Yorkshire when he knows nothing about my history or involvement in the party? No, zero. But I still didn't get a response. So then Michaela went by the wayside, another good person, just, you know, off you go. And so I wrote to Emma Colgate, and Emma said exactly the same. And she said, I'll endeavour to find out what the score was. So then she tried to find out what the score was, and again hit a brick wall, because, you know, it's obvious what the score is. You know, the score is whatever the reason, they're not giving you the reason, because, well, I don't know what that is. It seems like skullduggery to me, but so I hit a brick wall again, so I thought I'll write to Simon Darby. So I wrote to Simon Darby and I put all these issues with him, and he said nothing. He didn't write back to me. I thought, this is the deputy leader of the party, the man who's second in charge, who's just dismissing myself. And I'm not an egomaniac, but you know, if the general public out there had put the commitment in that I had, and people here, this blooming country won't be in this mess. So I thought, I must have done something right, and they're treating me like this. What do they treat the average member like? So I wrote to Simon Darby, got no response, wrote to him again, no response, wrote to him again, no response, wrote to him half a dozen. So it got to the point where I said, look Simon, if you don't answer me, then I'll just come and knock on your door and you can speak to me face to face. So he gave me no response. So to cut a long story short, I phoned him up. And then when I wrote back to him, asking him questions about what he'd said to me, he ignored me again. So I just thought, I've just had enough of bothering with these people. You know, it will get me frustrated. I'm happy with my family. All politics has ever done is bring hassle to my house. So why the hell should I bloody bother? You know, but we're being a nationalist, and it eats away at you. You can't do nothing. You know, I tried to be a normal person. You know, I tried to forget what was going on. I tried to forget the state of the country. I tried to just forget it. But it's not in me. I'll never be able to do that. And so I kept in touch with people in Yorkshire, and then I spoke to a couple of people in Yorkshire, and they said, "Oh, Eddie's looking to try and change things within the party." So I went to meet Eddie, and he asked me to stand shoulder to shoulder with him. And I still felt some allegiance to Nick because I'd known him on a personal level. So I wrote to him before I decided to stand alongside Eddie, because I thought it would be the correct thing to do. And I told him what I planned to do and why I planned to do it. And I didn't get a reply. So I thought, well, fine. So then I stood with Eddie, and I always believed that Nick would see that when his time was up, but I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. I don't know what it is, but you know, I honestly thought he'd know that his sell-by date had passed, and when he came, if he came in here today and he saw the people, the quality of people here today and the quality of people who are going to be here tomorrow, I thought he'd have just said, fine, this is what I want to do, I'll be in Europe, I'll carry on doing this, and I'll let someone else run the affairs at home, because the affairs need running at home. This is a ship without a captain at the moment, is this party.
Heading for the rocks.
Yeah, it's not had a leader, hasn't this party? Well, I think since the question time fiasco, to be quite honest. I think, you know, I think that really was the undoing of Nick as a leader. And, you know, I felt for him because, you know, it was sad that he was reduced to what happened on question time, because he didn't fight our corner.
No, he didn't.
He killed up and died.
Yeah,
You know, he killed up and died. And I'd have had more respect for him if he'd have fought our corner and or got angry or done anything, not slouch in his chair looking uncomfortable and defeated. You know, we're not defeated.
That's right.
You know, we're not defeated. They haven't defeated us yet.
That's right.
You know, so we've got to stand proud on this. And, you know, we're right. We're fighting a noble cause here.
That's right. We are.
So, you know, I think if we're going to reform this party, we've got to use this weekend to realise that all this infighting has got to go. You know, personalities have got to go. We've got to be honest and straight down the line. Talk like adults, eye to eye. If there's an issue, get it sorted out. This backstabbing on internet forums and stuff, it's all got to stop. We've got to reform this party and lead by example, because the masses out there need leadership.
Absolutely.
And the English people especially need a leader.
Right.
And from my brief time, let's say brief 10 years of running Kirklees, people latch onto a leader. They really do, and we need leadership in this party. So we've got to put these issues and infighting aside for good and move forward. Because realistically, in 20 years' time, this Yorkshire, it's going to be finished.
This England.
You know, this England, yeah,
Sure.
our country,
Sure.
our future. And I've got 3 kids, and my youngest is only 5. And when I look at the state of the place, you know, I don't care about me. People have said to me, you know, my wife is a sports massage therapist, and she works for Dewsbury Rams rugby team, and a lot of the guys there I've known from school and stuff, and they said to me, God, I don't know how you've got the bottle to do what you do, and that, you know, I really don't. And I thought, look who's talking, these big lumbering 18-stone guys smashing each other, you know, and I don't care for myself, you know, I really don't care, and I'm sure everybody else feels the same here. They don't really care for ourselves. That's why we're in this. We're in it for the future of the country and for his offspring. And you know, whatever happens in our fight, at least we can look at our offspring and say we've done everything possible to turn this country around. And as I say, you know, we've got to reform this party. We've got to reform some of its policies. Maybe that's open for discussion. We've got to work together as a team. We've got to start acting like people who can govern a country, right? Because to be quite frank, at the moment, the BNP can't even govern anything, you know, at the top, let alone the country. I mean, the bloody country's in a shambles as it is, but just think what it would be in, you know, if we ran it. You know, I mean, for God's sake, you know, I mean, it's in debt now, but God knows how much debt it would be in. But you know, so I'm not gonna speak for that much longer because I don't want to bore you all. And but as I say, it's been really nice to be invited down here tonight. I'm looking forward to the conference tomorrow, and we need to reform this party. We need to do everything correctly. We don't want to give our enemies anything to attack us on. We want to do everything above board. Everything's got to be up front, and everything I've said here tonight and everything that's said tomorrow at that conference, I should be quite happy to say to the leaders of the party at the moment. And that's how we're going to transform and reform this party, because the current leadership at the moment, unfortunately, cannot sit opposite you on a table and have a frank discussion, because there's too much dodginess going on. And if there isn't too much dodginess going on, well, let's get it out in the open then, shall we? But it says to me, when things aren't discussed in an adult way, when things aren't discussed in an open way, when the membership can't see a list of accounts for all the different things within the party, well, we've got to be more open, because the people that are running this country now are all behind closed doors and skullduggery, and we need to set an example. So let's use this weekend to build bridges with each other if there is any that's needed to build, put policies in place, and look at moving forward for the future of our country and our party. Thank you.